So using proportional relationships. So we're still setting up proportions and we're still solving them. That's a big thing, okay? We're still doing that. The hard part is being able to set them up. Once you set them up, I'm confident that you can solve it, okay? So let's talk about what an indirect measurement is. Any guesses on what that might mean? Indirect. Okay, well, measurement is a length of some sort, right? If I asked you how tall the J building was, your answer would be tall, okay? Can you take a tape measure and just measure the J building with any issue?
If it was that long.
No, right? So we use what's called indirect measurement to help us measure the height of something that we can't just take a tape measure or a ruler to, okay? So indirect measurement is any method that uses formulas, similar figures, and or proportions to measure an object. Any method that uses formulas, similar figures, and or proportions to measure an object. We do a really cool project with our next unit that kind of deals with indirect measurement. I think it's a cool project. We're actually going to go out and measure the height of like the J building and light posts and things like that.
Like an hour?
It actually takes us like 3 days.
3 days?
She said.
We may even go fly kites. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. Okay. So, let's see how this actually works. Sid is 72 inches tall. To measure a flagpole, Sid stands near the flagpole. Sid's friend Miranda measures the lengths of Sid's shadow and the flagpole's shadow. Sid's shadow is 48 inches, and the flagpole's shadow is 128 inches. Find the height of the flagpole. Okay, so there's a lot of information there. So let's break this down. We have Sid. I'm going to help you. Okay, here's Sid. And Sid wants to measure a flagpole, right? There's our flagpole. Sid doesn't know how tall the flagpole is. That's what he wants to measure. Or she. I don't know if Sid's a boy or girl. Sid's a boy? Okay. Sid is 72 inches tall. Right? And then his friend measures his shadow. Where is a shadow located? On the ground, right? If you're standing outside, your shadow is on the ground. So, yes, but we're going to pretend there's nothing else around us. So this is Sid's shadow. And Sid's shadow is 48 inches. The flagpole also has a shadow of 128 inches. And we want to know how tall the flagpole is. Okay. Now, this doesn't look like a figure we've been working with, right? But what if I just did this?
Don't do that to me.
Now we're comparing what? Triangles. Okay, we're comparing triangles. Now, just like over the last couple weeks, as long as we compare the same pieces, we can find the height of the flagpole. So we're going to measure, or we're going to compare shadow to shadow, height to height. Okay, shadow to shadow, height to height. So shadow of Sid to the shadow of the flagpole is going to equal the height of Sid to the height of the flagpole. Shadow to shadow, height to height. Okay, you're comparing the same pieces. Again, once we have our proportion, I'm confident that you guys can solve it, right? Cross multiply. All of them won't necessarily refer to shadows. We'll see a few. Okay, so 48x equals 9,216. When you divide by 48, you get 192 inches. Because it's a word problem, you have to have those units. So the flagpole is 192 inches. Now, as you go through these problems, I definitely want you to think about it. Will Sid be taller than the flagpole? Obviously not. I mean, unless it's like a real tiny flagpole. Okay, but they're going to make sense. So if you got a number that was lower than 72 inches, less than 72 inches, you know you probably did something wrong because the flagpole should be a whole lot taller than that. Okay? But again, shadow to shadow, height to height. So if you even want to write that, shadow to shadow equals height to height. You just have to compare the same pieces. Now again, there's other ways that you can set this up, but if you are consistent with it, you should be okay. Are we okay with that one? Okay, let's do another one together, and then I'm going to give you a couple to do on your own. So, a student wanted to find the height of a statue of a pineapple in Nambour, Australia. Yes, it's a very big statue. So I'm going to draw a pineapple because I know that's what I'm measuring. It's my pineapple. Okay. We also have the student, and in this instance, it's a girl because that's what it says. It says she, so I'll make it a girl. Okay. She measures the pineapple shadow and her own shadow. The student's height is 5 feet 4 inches. And the student's shadow is 2 feet. The pineapple shadow is 8 feet 9 inches. And we want to find the height of the pineapple. Before we do anything, because I see a lot of you pulling out your calculators, do you see any issues? I see 2 different units. I see feet and inches. You cannot, let me repeat, you cannot set up a proportion and solve if you have more than 1 unit. So we need to convert everything to one of the units. Inches is the easiest thing, hence why it was part of your warm-up. Okay, so what does 2 feet become? 24 inches. 2 times 12 is 24. So I have 24 inches. 5 times 12 is 60 plus 4 is 64 inches. And 8 times 12, 96 plus 9 is 105 inches. Now that everything's in 1 unit, I can compare. Okay, so shadow to shadow, height to height. Shadow to shadow, height to height.
Where did the 12 come from?
Where did the 12 come from?
2 times 12.
There's 12 inches in a foot.
Oh.
So 12 inches in 1 foot. Oh. Okay, so cross multiply 24x equals 6,720. X equals 280 what? Inches. Okay, now I'm going to make you do one more step. Everyone okay with 280 inches? I want to convert back to feet and inches, since that's what I started in. Now, let me go through this with you, because here's where people are going to mess up. So, if I went from feet to inches, I multiplied by 12, right? So when I'm going backwards, I'm going to divide by 12. So I want everyone in your calculators to see what happens. So 280 divided by 12. I want everyone to do it. Okay, so you get 23.33333. Your answer is not 23 feet 3 inches. Okay, it is 23 feet. Everyone okay with 23 feet? Now here's what you need to do to figure out how many inches it is. 23 times 12, because that's how many inches are in a foot, gives me a total of 276. That's how many inches I've used for the 23 feet. How many inches are left over? 4. Okay, so one more time. Oh. Okay, so you started with 280 inches. I need to convert that to feet. So 280 divided by 12 gives me, not 2, try again. Divided by 12 gives me 23.333. All I'm using is the whole number, so 23 feet. Okay? I need to figure out how many inches 23 feet is. So 23 times 12 gives me 276. Well, I had 280. So 280 minus that 276 is 4 inches. Okay, so that decimal is not your inches. You actually have to figure out what that conversion is. Are we okay with that?
Yep.
Okay, so I would like you and your group to solve numbers 3 and 4. Now, real quick on number 3, you see decimals, but what are the units? Meters. There's only one unit, so you don't have to do any conversion. Okay, on number 4, however, I see feet and inches, so you need to convert, and then you'll convert it back. So work with your group, and then we'll go over it in a second. Okay, number 3. In order to find the height of a palm tree, you measure the tree's shadow, which is 7.2 meters. I know we're looking for the height of the palm tree. At the same time of day, you measure the shadow cast by a meter stick. The shadow cast by the meter stick is 1.6 meters. How tall is the meter stick? 1 meter. Okay? You need to make sure you have 3 pieces of information, because if you don't, you can't actually set it up. So shadow to shadow, 1.6 and then 7.2 equals height to height. Cross multiply. 1.6x equals 7.2. 7.2 divided by 1.6 should have given you 4.5 meters. Are we okay with that? Okay. Number 4, a student who is 5 feet, 6 inches tall, casts a shadow that is 5 feet. A flagpole casts a shadow that is 14 feet, 2 inches. What is the height of the flagpole? First thing you should have done is convert everything. So 5 feet converts to 60 inches. 5 feet 6 inches is 66 inches. And 14 feet 2 inches is 170 inches. Okay? Hold on. 5 feet 6 inches. 5 times 12 is 60 plus 6. Okay. Most of your, actually all of your conversions will be in feet and inches. I'm not going to throw in, well, it can't be gallons because gallons is a unit of. Okay, hold on. We're almost done. So 60 over 170 equals 66 over x. When I cross multiply, I get 60x equals 11,220. When you divide by 60, you get 187 inches. You have to convert it back to feet and inches. So 187 divided by 12 gives me 15 feet. And then 15 times 12 is 180. So the difference between 187 and 180 is 7 inches. Questions on the notes. So once you set it up, you should be able to do the proportion part, but you have to make sure you're setting it up correctly. This needs to be attached to page 47 in your notebook, and then you also need to start on your homework.